Welcome to today. We're going to talk a little bit about truth and why it is so vital to our life. And so let's just jump into this. I wanted to do a follow-up video on truth and why it's so important. I don't understand why there is anything but confirmation bias. We all believe what we want to believe. That I don't have any trouble understanding. What I don't understand is how anybody escapes the gravity of believing what they want. It has to have an external force. It has to. Our desires take control and steer our lives. We do what we want. This is why we love freedom so much. We want to do what we want to do, not what somebody else wants us to do. So how is it that people choose to tell themselves no? To believe something bigger, something more noble. Is this God? Just wondering, why is truth so important? I'm thinking about this. I know that God is in pursuit of me. I know that. So just how does he pursue me? That's the question. Why do I, as well as my world, seem to continually walk away from God? Even if we do believe, we try to make God into someone we want him to be. And why do we do that? And what is the course back? Where's the trail? Now, I know these questions are kind of weird, but not to me. I know that God is at work in my world. The Bible tells me so, but I'm also curious to go into the world to investigate how he does it. How does God talk to us? Well, the verse that came to mind for me was 2 Thessalonians 2:10 and 11, which is not the total 10 and total 11. I realize very much that I'm started in the middle of a sentence and I'm finished in the middle of a sentence. So just let me read it. Because they did not receive the love of the truth so as to be saved, for this reason, God will send upon them a deluding influence so that they will believe what is false. The question of the text, and I don't want to hide this from you, the question from the larger question of the text is, why do the wicked perish? That comes from the earlier part of verse 10. And they perish because they do not receive the love of the truth. But there's a relationship here between the end of this sentence and the beginning of the next. And the question here is, why does God send a deluding influence that causes people to believe a lie? For this reason, that part that's underlined, lets me know that I have a why question. We don't have a reason how or a reason what. We have reasons why. So the question in the text is a why question. Why does God send a deluding influence that causes people to believe a lie? Now, what's the answer to that question? Why does God send a deluding influence that causes people to believe a lie? The answer from the text is they did not receive the love of the truth. They did not receive something greater than themselves, something outside themselves, the truth. Now, from that question, why does God send a deluding influence that causes people to believe a lie? And the answer, they did not receive the love of the truth. From that question and the answer, we can come up with a spiritual principle. And I know we're interpreting scripture here, but we need to interpret it so we can apply it to our life. Deluded people don't love truth. Now, that seems, on its very face, seems to be self-evident. But I kind of prefer the more positive statement. People who receive a love of the truth will be saved from delusion. Now the question is, does this reflect the spirit of the text? I believe so. The second question is, Does it answer the question that we raised? Yes, it did answer that question that we raised. The question that we raised, remember, why does God send a deluding influence that causes people to believe a lie? This answers that question. So what are some of the questions we need to be asking ourselves? First of all, do I see the truth as something I receive? Or do I think truth is something that I already have and that I don't really need anyone to teach me? Second, am I receptive or argumentative? Now, we need to be open to the truth. There's nothing wrong with having arguments as long as you are trying to be receptive to the truth. But there is a stage in which you're argumentative because you don't want to know the truth. 3, do people describe me as open-minded? Why? Do you have to be open-minded? Because the truth isn't in your head. It's got to be put there. You've got to receive it. And so if you don't open your mind, you can't receive it. Now, you don't want to open your mind to everything, but you should be able to be described as an open-minded person. 4, when was the last time I was convicted? Now, that's a big test, because if I'm doing pretty much what I want and I'm never being convicted that what I'm doing is wrong and that I should stop it, you may not be listening to the truth. When was the last time I apologized? That's an acknowledgement that you have violated the truth and that you were wrong. Am I on a quest to understand? Or am I just getting what I want? But am I seeking to know what is going on in my world, why I'm here, what I'm supposed to do, what's going on, how can I help? That's a quest to understand. Or simply put, am I a know-it-all? Now, these are just questions to prime the pump and to get you to ask yourself the question, am I open to the truth? So my encouragement to you is to get together with whoever you're talking to and to probe these questions. And each one of these questions has probably a dozen more questions that you can do follow-up questions. Because remember, one question will always raise another. It will always lead you to another. In application, we have tons of questions, thousands of questions. I mean, if you get 1,000 people together, you're going to have 1,000 questions on an individual text. There's only one interpretation, but there's thousands of applications. And so we need to think this through, because in order to be the people that help preserve the society in which we live, we've got to be a people who love the truth. And the truth is not something you find deep down inside you. The truth is something you receive from outside of you. How observant are you, and how hungry are you for the truth? This will make you invaluable to your community. So, God bless, and I hope you have a great day.